Hey, it's Benji Cole, son of Al Cole from CBS Radio and host of People of Distinction, the talk that gives an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. Run to our website, peopleofdistinction.org for more info, or you can always email me directly at benji@alcoleenterprises.com. And on the line with us today, we have Kenna Page. We'll be discussing her fantastic book, Through the Redwood Hollow. Available for purchase through Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com. But if you guys want to gather everything that Kenna has to offer, do yourself a favor and head directly to her personal site, KennaPageBooks.com. Now there, you'll be able to find more information on Kenna herself. More information, of course, on this book, Through the Redwood Hollow. But guys, listen, Kenna has put in work, okay? And she has a lot on the horizon. So I need you to do yourself a favor and not only go there to pick up the copy of this book, but make sure you're checking back in frequently, okay? Because she has 2 other books on the horizon, still in creation, so they can't be purchased just yet. But guys, be on the lookout for it, because Through the Redwood Hollow is actually the first in a 3-part series. So the second book, which has been completed in terms of writing, still in publication though, is called Seeking the Sacred Sword. And then the last one, which is still in creation, is Finding All the Answers. So one more time, that's KennaPageBooks.com. You know, and I will say, Kenna was brought to our network, People of Distinction, today by some of the best movers in the business. Prestige International Media. So if you have a book that you'd like moved, do yourself a favor and contact Prestige. You can find out more information on them at prestigeinternationalmedia.co. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Kenna, first and foremost, welcome to People of Distinction, and thank you so much for being a guest. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine, and thank you, Mr. Cole. What a wonderful intro, and thank you for having me on your show today. Your words are beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you saying that, Kenna. Thank you. Now, I know we have so much information to cover, but before we jump into the book, let's hold off slightly. Start by telling our listening audience a little bit more about yourself, please.
Okay. I grew up in Southern California, but I live in the Pacific Northwest now. Not because I'm a hiking, camping, or fishing enthusiast, but because I love the mountains, I love the forests and the flowing rivers and the farmers' green fields and groves throughout the valley. It's all just so beautiful. And although L.A. and San Diego were exciting places to live when I was young, I prefer a more serene environment these days. And my family lives nearby, which makes it an even better place to live, because nothing beats God's natural beauty in a loving family.
Absolutely. Absolutely wonderfully said, Kenna. Listen, without further ado, let's jump in. Through the Redwood Hollow. Tell us a little bit more about your book.
Well, the Stewart family are camping in the redwood forests near the ocean when they're jolted awake one morning by a strong earthquake. Jill and her cousin Molly decide to walk down to the beach, where they see a huge tsunami wave coming right at them. The girls turn and immediately run and find a hollow in a redwood tree and climb into it, trying to escape the killer wave that's suddenly upon them. When the girls crowd the other side of the tree, they find themselves lost and frightened in a really strange but beautiful world. The story is about 2 young girls trying to find their way back home from a magical land of Zylandia with the help of some new and unique friends. But to find out if they make it home, I'm afraid you're just going to have to read the story.
Let's talk about the title, because it's absolutely such an intriguing title, and the book cover is so enticing. It instantly sucks you in. Talk to our listening audience. Really, why did you choose that title to be the representation for your book?
Oh, I fell in love with the redwoods when I was just a girl vacationing with my family in Northern California. Camping areas like Patrick's Point in the redwood forest, they're near the ocean, which I also love. So it just seemed like the perfect place for my story to begin. I had to get my girls from California to Zylandia, and Through the Redwood Hollow seemed like the perfect way to get there. So the cover needed to have the forest and the ocean and the girls and everything on it, because that's where the story begins and ends.
let's go into the concept of inspiration, Kenna. So, multi-part question here, but first and foremost, are there other artists that have inspired you to embark upon this journey?
Oh, J.R.R. Tolkien. It was such a fantastic author, more than just an author. And although I didn't always care for his subject matter, I loved the way Terry Goodkind could draw a picture with words, making it possible to visualize a scene in my mind as I read. I thought that was the perfect, most wonderful way to share with a reader what the author's imagination is seeing as they, too, can picture in their minds what's happening on the page. So I tried to glean from both of those men how to put together a story.
So we know what inspired you to really embark upon a creative journey and become a writer. Now, with this particular narrative, what inspired you to create this?
Well, I don't know if you could call it inspiration, but my daughter told me that she thought I should write a children's book. And though I didn't know why she kept telling me that, I found myself mulling it over and putting together thoughts of a story in my mind. I hadn't written anything. I just put together thoughts, and I was playing with it. But one morning I was walking down the hall with a cup of tea, and all of a sudden a scene popped into my head where Jill and Molly were running for their lives from giants. So I went and sat down and immediately wrote what I had just envisioned, and then it just went on from there. When I would hear or see something I thought was interesting or I liked, I'd make a note of it, and then I'd adapt it to fit into my story one way or another. That way I was coming up with new thoughts and ideas to enhance the dialogue in the story as I went along.
Kenna, I'm curious, even though this book is fiction, I'm sure there was a lot of research that, of course, went into comprising it. Talk to our listening audience. What type of research did you do in preparation for this book?
Well, I was looking for unique characters not used by the more well-known authors. So I purchased the Encyclopedia of Magical Creatures and perused that from cover to cover for the characters they had listed. Some I used, but most of them I just adapted to make them different for my story. Then while I was writing, if I had a question about what I was writing about, for example, all the blues on the Cerulean barge or the riddle of the Sphinx, I would go and research it online. Any time I had a question pop into my head, I would research it because I want to be at least as accurate. I want to be as accurate as possible, at least as accurate as fantasy and fiction can be.
Here in the line with Kenna Page, we're discussing her fantastic book, Through the Redwood Hollow, available for purchase through Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com, or directly through her personal site, KennaPageBooks.com. You know, Kenna, and as we advance on, what would you say was a highlight for you in writing this book?
Oh, it had to be the day I received the 100 reviews from the Goldman Agency in New York. They were all so wonderful. And reading such beautiful compliments about my story just moved me to tears, and I just cried as I read each one.
Absolutely. Well, listen, I've seen some of those reviews, and they're absolutely magnificent and such high praise and well-deserved. I mean, now after listening to you speak and knowing what I know about the book is absolutely well-deserved. Now, of course, Kenna, what are you hoping to see people do with this book or take from this book?
I hope they read Through the Redwood Hollow, and if they do, I hope they enjoy the story. I hope they enjoy the journey as they escape from this world with Molly and Jill for a little while. And if taking their mind off right now as they wander through Zylandia with my girls can help, especially in these times, then I will be more than pleased. I will be elated.
Kenna, what is next for you? I mean, what is on the horizon?
Well, I've been busy. I just finished final edit of the second book of my Zylandia series, Seeking the Sacred Sword. The third book of the trilogy, like you said, will be finding all the answers, but that one's still in my head. I've completed a screenplay for Through the Redwood Hollow, and I'm working with a company on making it into a movie. So I have at least 2 more books and hopefully 3 more movies in the not-too-distant future.
Fantastic. We're very much looking forward to all of that. Kenna, Are there any tips that are discussed? Now, it's a fictional narrative, right? So I know this is a little irregular, but even fictional narratives have great and powerful messages that can be received from them, right? So are there any tips that are discussed in the book that you can offer for our listening audience?
Well, you see, I grew up in the 50s with the little Golden books and Hans Christian Andersen and Aesop's fables, which always ended in, the moral of the story is. So with that in the back of my mind, I believe, and because I believe in helping others and sowing good karma, I tried to share that philosophy through my characters in the story. I had my girls reflecting on the right thing to do, and one should help others in need if given the opportunity. Even when they didn't really want to, they knew that doing the right for others was what one should do. Do what's right, do what's good, and that's what they chose to do. I guess you'd say that's the moral of my story.
You know, and listen, sticking with the concept of advice, as we close out this fantastic interview, being an artist myself, I mean, I'm in a different medium. I'm an actor and a filmmaker based here in Los Angeles, but being an artist myself, I love having this platform to be able to pay it forward, in a sense, to other artists that are out there listening in. Now, you are someone that is an accomplished author. You've been through the process. You've written this book, gotten it published, and you have another 2 on the horizon still yet to come. I'd love to take this opportunity. What advice could you give a new writer, someone out there listening in that is just starting out on their journey?
If you're young, do it while you're young. That way you'll have time to enjoy the thrill of success, and truly I wish everybody the thrill of success in all their endeavors.
There you have it. Guys, listen, what more can be, well, I was going to say what more can be said. Well, here's the beautiful thing. A lot more can be said, okay? We've barely scratched the surface, and that is what makes this so powerful. We've discussed so much, but yet there's still so much left to be discovered. So now the onus is on you. You know where you have to go. Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com, KennaPageBooks.com are the places you have to go. Through the Redwood Hollow is the title you have to pick up, and Kenna Page is the author you have to thank for bringing it to your table. You surely will not be disappointed, guys. Again, as we've stated, and also what is on the horizon, she's already said there's going to be a film trailer that is on the website now, and there's a screenplay to come. Be on the lookout for it, guys. We know, really for me, given everything that we've had to go through this past year, an escape of this magnitude is so needed. But also, this is such a popular concept in our society right now. When you read the reviews, as I stated before, I instantly was taken back, and it resembled Alice in Wonderland, one of my favorite Disney movies, right? Other reviewers have really compared this or hearkened to Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. And of course, I know Kenna is going to be very humble and very modest about it. But listen, the comparison is there. Okay, and we're not saying that it is the next thing to it, but the concepts are undeniable, right? I mean, the resemblances are undeniable. So this is something that is wildly entertaining and something that you will truly be able to benefit from. It's a wonderful journey for you to take with your kids and your family, but it's an even better gift for you to get for someone else's. So you know what you have to do. Kenna, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you once again for being a guest with us today on People of Distinction.
Oh my goodness, thank you for all your wonderful, beautiful words, and thank you for having me.